Hello and welcome to the free Capital Coders DCA trading bot configuration. In this video, we're going to go over how to set up the DCA trading bot in under 10 minutes. First off, we're going to start in our 3 commas dashboard. Once you're here, you're going to want to make sure that you have a exchange and a broker that is already connected. If you do not have an exchange, make sure you go through the connect exchange process to connect with the exchange that you want to trade with. Once you have your exchange connected, we're going to go over to the signal bot, and then we're going to create a new signal bot. Once on this page, we're going to hit the TradingView strategy button, and then we're going to configure all these settings here. First thing first, make sure your exchange is selected. This is the exchange that you want to be trading from. And then we're going to give our bot a name. I'm going to name mine free DCA trading bot. Once that is named, we're going to select the pairs that we want to trade. In this case, I'm going to set up Ethereum USDT. So I'm going to turn on that pair. You can trade whichever pair you want, but in my case, I'm going to set up Ethereum USDT. You need to make sure that you have the correct funds to trade available in the exchange that you're trading. And lastly, we're going to set our maximum investment usage. In my case, I want to do 100% of my available balance, so I will leave that as default and make sure this is set to 100% USDT per bot. Once those settings are configured, we're going to take a look at these signal settings down here. There are 2 strings of text that are important for us. First, we have the webhook URL, and then we have the webhook message. Both of these we will need to copy over into our alert settings once we set everything up on TradingView. Once this is all set up, we will go over to TradingView and add the strategy onto our chart. To do that, you will follow the link to get to the strategy publication. One thing to note is as well, you can see the strategy report, which shows the backtest of the strategy and the source code of the strategy, so everything is visible to the public in case you are interested on how it works. But to get it on the chart, we are going to use this use on chart button. Once the strategy is on our chart, you will see this confirmation that tells you to select the date and time when live trading begins. So we're going to select the last candle here on the chart because we're setting up the live trading portion of this. Once you select that candle, the inputs will show up. We're going to turn on live mode. We're going to make sure the start date and time is the current start date and time, which it is currently November 1st, 2025 at about 4 p.m. And then I'm going to set this time zone to match my time zone here on the chart. In this case, it is UTC or GMT -6. And then I'm going to hit apply. Once the strategy is added to the chart, you will see the empty backtester because we have live mode turned on. If you care to see the backtest, you can turn live mode off and you will see the backtester will immediately show up. But in our case, we're turning on live mode and we're going to set up the strategy to start trading live. First thing you want to take a look at over in the properties tab is your initial capital. You want to set this value to match the capital that you have available in your account. In my case, it is 1800 USD, and I'm going to leave the base currency default. We want to leave the order size at a default of 10. It will use 10% of your equity per trade, and it is set up to take 10 trades in total. So if all 10 trades are taken, it will use 100% of your available balance, but it will only use 1/10 per trade that it takes. Now we're going to go back to the chart, and there's a few things we want to make sure on this chart. Right now, I am using the Ethereum Tether USD chart from KRAKEN. It's important to make sure that you are using the correct exchange that matches the exchange you plan to trade with. In this case, if you plan to use Binance, you may want to search for the Binance chart of the Ethereum USDT token. You can see all of the options here. We have Binance, we have Bybit, we have OKC. In my case, we are using KRAKEN, and so I am choosing the KRAKEN chart. This is important. If you mismatch the chart to your exchange that you are trading with, you may see errors on the 3 commas side when trades are taken. Now that the strategy is set up, we are going to configure the alerts. To configure the alerts, we're going to go up to the top of the screen and hit the alert button. Once the alert dialog pops up, we're going to make sure that our symbols are the symbol we want to trade, Ethereum USDT. The condition is going to be the strategy that we added to the chart, in this case, Capital Coders DCA Bot. And the interval is going to be the same as the chart. In my case, it's 15 minutes. You can trade this on any time frame you want. However, I find it works best on a 15-minute to 4-hour chart time frame. We're going to set the expiration. In my case, I have open-ended alerts. If you have a lower tier subscription, you may have a limit on how far out you can set your alerts. Make sure it's set to as far out as possible, so that way you don't have to re-enable your alerts as frequently. Once that is configured, we're going to go to the message tab. Here, we're going to give our alert a name. I'm going to name it Free DCA Trading Bot Alert. And I'm going to delete the message that's in this box. Now, this is where I'm going to go back to our 3 commas system, our 3 commas page, and copy the webhook message that they provided here. I'm going to copy that value, go back to TradingView, and paste that here into the box. Once that is set up, I'm going to go over to the Notifications tab. Once in the Notifications tab, you can set up any notifications you want. The only notification that is required for automated trading is this webhook section right here. So I'm going to delete the webhook that is in the box, and then I'm going to go back to 3 commas and copy their webhook URL for TradingView. Select the copy button, go back to TradingView, and then paste that webhook here in this box. And then I'm going to hit create. Once it is created, this strategy will be ready to go, and we can go back over to 3 commas and we can hit the start button. As soon as you hit start, the next alert that comes into TradingView will trigger an alert over to 3 commas, which will trigger a trade with our broker. Now, the only thing left to do is wait for an alert and make sure that the trades are functioning as they should. Once it is all set up, the last thing you need to do is wait for a signal to come in on TradingView. You can see the alerts set up over here, and you can check out the log every time an alert comes in to make sure that when a trade comes in, you can verify that with your 3 commas signal bot, and that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.